You guessed it, we're here to review Transformers, the Michael Bay, in a way, monstrosity thing, kind of. I gotta tell you, I got mixed feelings about these. Not so much the second one, but the mixed feelings about these movies. On one hand, I think you can't deny that they just, well, look amazing. The visual effects are amazing. It's just like, to me, when I look at the Transformers movies, I think if you're going to show some baby or some person who's never seen movies, the definition of popcorn movie, I think the Transformers movies are like the ultimate definition of popcorn movie. It's all flash, flare, they look good, and it looks like he always shoots either like dawn or dusk. He always shoots from the sun. It's undeniable that Michael Bay has an eye for doing what he does. Is what he does good? Good is a kind of a matter of opinion. I've always been torn with the Transformers movies because technically, especially on Blu-ray, have you seen any of it? No?
I've seen it on Blu-ray.
Oh, I mean,
I saw the third one.
they're freaking, amazing, like technically, sound-wise, everything. But then the flip side of it is, it's just like, they're also an exercise in how the hell you can fill 150 minutes of screen time with absolutely nothing. And I'm of the age where I grew up with Transformers. I watched the show a little bit. The movie, when I was a kid, the cartoon movie, the original movie was huge among us kids at that age, at that time. It's like Transformers, the movie. It was so cool, and then you had Transformers dying, and I think they said some bad words or something like that. Maybe, I don't know what the hell they said. But, I mean, it was just, and that's out of print because on DVD right now, I really want it. I never got the DVD, and I kind of want it actually right now this year. And so if anyone wants to send it to me, let me know, free of charge, and let me know, I'll give you an address. But, so it was exciting. It was an exciting idea of it. One thing I don't like, I'm not going to really go into much about story because there really isn't story. One thing I don't like about it is the Transformers, obviously were a lot more intricate than they were. I thought Optimus Prime looked fine because when he was a robot, he still had the colors of the car, and you could see a little bit of the doors and the windshield and stuff in them. But like all the other Transformers, except for Bumblebee, you could tell who was Bumblebee and Optimus Prime. Except for that, it's like when they're robots, it's like
Wash out.
you can't even tell who the hell's who. And that was one thing that was cool about having them simplistic in the cartoon show, at least the original first cartoon show, is that you knew instantly who everyone was. And now when they're robots, I mean, when it's like you don't know who the hell is who. I've run out. I'm gonna continue, but I'm gonna let you start.
Star for you?
Oh God. It's so hard because technically they're amazing. I guess I can't go any more than 2 stars for Transformers.
I share the 2. Well, let's start with your observation about the color scheme of the robots themselves. Optimus Prime and Bumblebee. Everybody else is gray.
Everyone else is gray, bad or good. It doesn't matter.
Bad or good doesn't really matter. There's little hints of color on the good guys, none on the bad guys.
Yeah.
So when you see Optimus Prime fighting, it's hard to tell when he's fighting villain or when he's hitting building. Like, they share the same color as the freaking backgrounds. Like, you can't see it's a visual mess is what it is. I don't agree with you about like the visuals of the movie. Like, I think
You don't like those kind of visuals?
No, not really.
Well, I don't like them. See, I don't like them.
Like, they are impressive. I grant you that.
That's where I'm torn because they're not the kind of visuals. If I made a movie, I'd do. But I think Michael Bay I just think for being Michael Bay visuals, I just think they're good. Personally, for Michael Bay visuals.
Like the special effects are phenomenal, but I can't see what's going on. So is it really good?
Well, that's true. No, I mean I have to agree with that. But I mean just the cinematography, the late day, early morning with the sun. I mean.
Michael Bay's movies are all
they're
good
so,
looking.
Yeah,
I actually do like The Island. Like, he has made a movie I've liked, but he's a good filmmaker in the sense of he knows what looks good, but he can't relate that even very well in his own blockbusters sometimes. And the plot of the movie, did you know anything about where the genesis of the plot is?
Is it based in Transformers lore?
No, Spielberg was talking with Michael Bay, and he was like, make it because Michael Bay wanted to do it, but he didn't really know the direction to take it. And he's like, well, nobody's made a good movie about a robot or a boy and his robot. And I'm like, isn't that what Terminator 2 is? Like, that's flat out the plot of Terminator 2, the biggest action movie of the 90s, probably.
Yeah.
And I was just like, what the hell is he talking about? So that's what the movie's devolve into, is it's about a boy and his pet robot.
Which
I didn't like that whole aspect. I thought it was substantially done better, and with telling a strong moral story in Terminator 2, this one sort of lacks.
I think that all the Transformers movies have this Flash.
Yeah,
and
like they try to whip a little message at you, but not really.
Man, it's so futile.
Yeah, I will say that the performers that in the first Transformers, like Shia LaBeouf does a hell of a job, as does Megan Fox, trying to sell the material to it, and the movie could kind of almost work based on their general likability. But I'm not a huge fan of either of those performers. I think Shia LaBeouf is an undeniably good actor, and Megan Fox is pretty, but I mean, there's a lot of pretty people out there, and I'm sure she can even act. I haven't seen that happen yet, but I'm assuming she can do it.
I bought for $3 Jonah Hex. Have you seen that?
Oh, that's horrible. Yeah.
But I thought she...
Oh, I didn't like her at all.
Okay.
But she...
Fine!
I'm sorry.
No, that's all right.
But anyway, that's the problem with Transformers, is like they don't really offer any substance. The action didn't catch me because it all was a blur.
Because you don't care. Well, yeah, plus
And like sound effects, musically, the movie's great. I like the score. The score is terrific. I did really dig the score, and that goes for pretty much all of Michael Bay's movies.
So you could take one CD from every one of his movies and you just keep laying it in there.
Yeah, it was pretty much Armageddon.
Well, The Rock, freaking
The Rock,
everything.
yeah.
It's got ever since The Rock is like that. What's his name? Whatever his name is. Dun 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 dun. It's like the same guy who did the Pirates of the Caribbean. It's like I'd be very sad if they record that over and over, because it's the same thing. You just use the same thing over and over.
But I wasn't.
Hans Zimmer.
I think Hans Zimmer's a great composer. So maybe it's fine.
Yeah, it's kind of like the John Williams and Steven Spielberg thing, where they can't even, doesn't even want to try anything new.
Yeah. But I really dig the music, and I also like some of the other lesser actors, and not lesser actors in terms of quality of performance, but lesser actors.
I was thrilled that John Turturro got a role in such a huge movie, because ever since Brain Donors, I thought that he was so great as a comedian. He had such great. I love John Turturro, but I love him in humorous roles, and to see him because he knew a lot of people are going to see this. So to see him where he's going to be seen by a lot of people.
The sad thing is now he's the Transformer guy. Like people.
It's kind of. Yeah, well, I can see people say, but not to me.
Yeah,
but
I like him. I like Josh Duhamel, who's the army guy.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's another thing I want to comment on. The first two Transformers are looks like they were completely funded by the military, because you can't even done that. It's like the only thing that's missing, maybe it's at the end of the movie or not, it's like the stamp of the paid for by U.S. military, because, or join up the military, because there's so much military propaganda.
Yeah.
It's not even.
It's oddly enough like a really pro-America movie, even though there's the fight scenes. It's not really about representing America. It's just about these weird alien robots.
Yeah, but to me, it's very unnerving how much the military was sought. It looked like they're all having fun and taking showers in the desert, and they made it look like a fun place to be, and they're playing basketball and join up, military. Get your head blown off for nothing, and. Just because, but I thought that was very, those movies are clearly that, and stuff like the 1980, which we're not going to get into, the 1998 Godzilla and stuff, where the military is to me, it's like propaganda for military, and just showing that they're on our side, really, really, see, we're showing it in the movie, military is good. We're not going to get into it, but so that, I completely forgot about that until you mentioned that. It was completely overblown. Like, and one thing I hate is, which they did in the first two Transformers, is have one freaking the cube. The cube has been a blah blah blah, and it's like, you know, this thing is huge, and it like transforms into like, it's like the MacGuffin. It's like the, it's just the, who gives a shit? I don't give a shit about the cube. And what's so funny about him, and we'll go into this in the sequels, is that for whatever reason, 3 times in a row, it's like, you know, what's his character's name? Sam ends up being at the forefront of these alien battles, doing stuff that anyone can do. I don't know how he ends up with, take the cube. I don't know how he ends up with it. Take the splinter, you know, and then they're, go over the, you know, and it's like, how does he end up being? And it's like, that kid is a Transformer magnet, you know, and it's like, whatever. So, what? Do you have anything else to say?
No, it's just sort of like it was a movie that was way blown over by hype, and I'm not sure why it caught on the way it did. I mean, it was unexpectedly funny, and I think that's kind of where the first one sort of became a hit. But even that one, I just, it was not my.
To me, I hated the scene, and I still do the scene where they go back to his house, and all the Transformers are in the freaking trying to hide and shit.
Yeah.
And it was just like, oh my god.
Well, also like there's a freaking robot peeing on a dude.
That's one thing about the first two, and the two one which we'll get to, which is even worse. The kind of the toilet, you know, kindergarten humor, which was
like
just
these
like
movies are aimed for 6-year-olds.
Yeah, the boy's pheromone levels say he wants to mate with the female.
Yeah.
You know, like, why do we need that in there?
Yeah,
you know? And then stop lubricating that man. You know,
that was
the guy
kind of
pops
funny,
out of a can.
I did like
but the imagery.
Yeah,
It's just like
exactly.
he pops out of, I don't know what came out of his crotch, but like an oil can or something. And he's like, shh, stop lubricating that man. So, and the first, the Transformers don't even show up until, or like the bulk of them until like an hour into it or something.
Yeah.
I thought that you could easily cut out 45 minutes of that movie.
That's that's
Even
basically
more?
the summary of the franchise.
Well, we're only talking.
Yeah, so Transformers 1, like, I think bottom line, it's a movie that was overblown by hype. It, like, has visual,
You know, and I thought the Megan Fox, I mean, I'm a guy, so I don't completely hate it, but I thought that when she's looking under the hood, it's just like the camera's just going down to her waist.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, Megan, suck in your stomach.
She complained about the fact that, like, she was just used as a sex object in that movie, and she ended up getting fired over that. I mean,
I thought she quit.
No, she got fired because she called Michael Bay a Hitler, and that Spielberg is like, that's an offense against us Jews. And
Is Michael Bay a Jew?
I don't know if he is, but like, I mean, like, she probably shouldn't have done that, and Spielberg has right to be upset about that. But at the same time, he was doing like horrible things to her, just flat out using her as a sex object, not using her to her potential.
I thought that the way she was portrayed, and especially that hood sequence.
Yeah.
I went like this in the theater. I went, "You're kidding me!" You know that looks like I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
And then she's like, "Yeah, it looks like your little thing's loose here," and the camera's going.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just like, whoa, you know. And I know all the guys, and like I say, I don't completely, and one part of me likes it, you know, and that part's private. I'm not going to even talk about that part, but I'm a guy, so you know, I don't completely hate it. But as a thinking person, it's just not.
You can
completely.
show a guy and or girl sort of like as a sex object, but also give them potential and give them a mind, and give them like power and character.
Blatantly go like
this. They didn't use her capacity besides that.
I know.
So
I know. Same. Yeah. Okay.
That's the ultimate bottom line. Is they're eye candy for kids.
And the line that Sam's mom uses when she comes up, I always compare her when she comes up from behind the chair to the Great Pumpkin when Snoopy comes up from behind the pumpkin in the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown. When I see Megan Fox, someday I'm going to do that. We're going to slow-mo it and put that the Great Pumpkin rising out of the pumpkin patch where she comes up behind the chair. The parents are like, the dad's like, doing, and the woman's like, you're gorgeous. Like, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't matter if you have a personality.
Yeah.
You're gorgeous. And that, another thing I want to mention is the parents. Well, especially,
so freaking irritating.
Well, the dad isn't as bad, but the mom is portrayed as being such a stupid, kind of hippie, upper middle class. And I think that, in a lot of ways, that's what the powers that be would like everyone to be, just like that woman. that's what's really scary about the movie. There's a lot of scary undertones, like with the military, the use of military, overuse of military in the movie, and the propaganda, and also how stupid that mom is.
Yeah.
It's like this is basically what we want America to be.
Yeah.
And I found that very disturbing.
Yeah, I did too.
Like, this goes beyond just humor. This is just bad. Like, why does she have to be so stupid, but she's even worse when we get into the second one?
Yeah.
So you know.
Oh, done. Yeah.
2 stars, Transformers.
2 stars again.
Don't mess with Texas. That'll make sense if you watch some of the
Texas
Chainsaw reviews.
Peace.
If you don't watch those, it won't make sense. Catch you later.
It looks like your distributor cap's a little loose.
eBay.